Our topic today is super important to us because it's our everyday grind. It's effective business planning on part-time hours. So we thought before we fully dive in, we want to get sort of a survey of the room. So I'm going to list out a bunch of different seasons of life. Would you guys mind standing up when you hear your season of life? And you're going to stay standing. So first we've got students or young professionals. Go ahead and stand up. Awesome. Okay, next we've got those of you who are married without kids. Go ahead and stand up. Everybody stay standing. Okay, how about newer parents or parents of young kids? Go ahead and stand up. Awesome. Next, we've got full-time working parents. And those of you who are already standing, go ahead and raise your hand if it already applies to you. Okay, awesome. And then lastly is just if you're coaching with any other commitment or responsibility, go ahead and stand up. Okay, so it's the whole room.
Wow, that is awesome. Give yourself a round of applause and you can go ahead and sit back down. I hope that you are encouraged by that. I mean, how cool is it that every single season in life is represented in this room? And the reason we wanted to start with that is because we want you to know and feel empowered that no matter how many hours you have to work this business, no matter what season of life you're in, you can make it work on part-time hours.
As we dive in, we thought, let's go ahead and connect with you guys and share a little bit about the seasons of life that we have gone through personally as we continue to build our business. So I'll start. I became a coach in January 2013. At that time, I was still working full-time as a nurse, so I understand the full-time grind. I also was married to my husband, who was in an active deployment schedule and a special forces training cycle, which is usually just chaos. Next, I had a cross-country move, and shortly after that, I went through my journey through infertility and IVF, which basically overtakes your entire life and your calendar. Next, we were blessed with a pregnancy, but of course, it was pregnancy with a deployed husband. Next, my little Rube came into the world, and so then I had to figure out how to work this business as a new mom without family nearby. And then most recently, we are now transitioning out of the military life, and we're moving to a different state on Friday.
All right, and these are the seasons that I've been through since coaching. So I started coaching 3 years ago. This is the upper left-hand corner picture. You guys, at the time, I had 4 kids, 4 years old and younger. I don't really know why I decided to add on coaching, but I am really glad that I did now, looking back. And so during that season, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had no help from really outside. I didn't have any family in the area, but I had a passion in my heart for coaching, and I wanted to make it work. So the next season that we went through as a family is in the lower left-hand corner. And so this is something that I'm really excited about because I worked hard to get there. I realized that I did need some help. I needed to work hard and then reinvest back into my business with some childcare. So at this point during our life, we did have some preschool, we had a sitter coming a few hours a week, and it really helped me to propel to the next level. And then the last picture is where we're at now. You know, it's kind of crazy because when you have little ones, it feels like it's going to last forever. But what I'm finding is that as we look to this fall, I have 3 out of my 4 kids who will be in elementary school, and I'm finding myself with a lot more time to work my business. And I'm so glad that I was able to be disciplined in those early crazy days. Okay, so the first thing that we would like you to do as we get rolling here is to really first recognize the season of life that you are in right now. So the reason why this is so important is because if you are going to have a business, you need to treat it like a business. You need to have work hours. So we love the idea of starting with a realistic minimum baseline. What we mean by that is we want you to focus on consistency more than anything. We want to be able for you to feel confident every single week knowing exactly how many hours you have to give to the business, no matter how crazy life is, that you have X amount of hours and you're gonna show up for work. Just like any other job, if you wanna earn an income, you gotta show up. Next, we want you to set realistic goals now that you know your time. And when you're doing this, it is so important to talk to other people that are closest to you in your life. Maybe it's a spouse or a family member, because your life is going to change. If you're going to take this business seriously, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of time, but I promise it'll be worth it in the long run. Then we also just want you to embrace the season that you're in. Again, don't compare yourself. Don't think, oh, well, if only I had X amount of hours. You guys, I was so tempted to do that in the early days. Let me tell you, when I had 4 little ones, I was so tempted, but it was because I chose to not compare the time that I had that I was able to rise above and figure it out. And so we love this quote. One of our favorite personal development books right now is called Girl, Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. Anyone? Yes, it's awesome, right? Okay, so this quote really sums this whole idea up. When you really want something, you'll find a way. When you don't really want something, you'll find an excuse.
Finding a way. You guys are going to have to take some pictures. You might want to wait a couple slides because this is going to build, but we kind of have to go through this stuff quickly. We're trying to sort of release the curtain of our business and give you a real look at what we actually do to be effective. So even working this business part-time, we treat this business seriously. We take it seriously, and so that means we develop business plans. You've heard that quote, treat your business like a business, probably a lot, and this is exactly how you do that. We found when we were sort of building this content out, we do a lot of the same things, and so we both create a team calendar. Sometimes it's just for your own business, and sometimes it's to share with your team. How many of you guys already do something similar to that? Okay. Some of you, but not a lot of you. So this might be a really helpful, practical tool. So we're going to walk you through why, how, what, and what ours looks like. Okay, so why do you do this? It's to organize your message. There's a lot of fun things going on in our network. There's a lot of announcements. You probably have a lot of great things planned for your customers, and it can be a lot. And so this is a way to organize your message and organize your delivery of that message so that you can be more strategic and it can make sense to the person who has no clue what Beachbody is all about. How do you do it? You go into your Coach Online office and you check your breaking news and you see what's coming up. You see what's going on. You see when programs are launching or when sneak peeks are coming out or when there's a local event. And you also look at your personal calendar. You tie the two together, Beachbody news and your personal calendar. So when you already volunteered for your kids' field trip, you're not going to have a team event that day. Or when you have a family trip coming up or your husband's getting ready to deploy, so you're going out of town, or you just simply have something, a doctor's appointment, you mesh the two together. Very simple, but you look at your personal calendar, you look at the Beachbody news, and you merge it together. So what do you put on your calendar? I already said Beachbody news, so that's obvious. Launches, products, that sort of thing. Also team events, whether it be local or virtual. You'll also want to put on like little goals to remind your coaches of, and then reminders. So let me walk you through an example of like what a May calendar would look like for my team. I've been a coach for 5.5 years, and National Wake Up Call is still just as important. So it goes on every single calendar. Every Monday, National Wake Up Call. To be Mindset launched, so May 2nd, you see To Be Mindset on there. I host a new virtual fit camp the first Monday of every month. And so you'll see on the 2nd, there's a prep week that opens up. That's just to get my people in the group, get them comfortable in the platform, encourage them to take their measurements or before pictures, get familiar with their meal plan, and ask questions. Super simple. And then we start the group on the 7th, first Monday. On this particular calendar, I had some things going on the first 2 weeks of May, so I bumped my new coach mentorship to the 13th. It's okay to be flexible. So that's just my newest group of coaches. We are starting training together. I'm putting them in a pod and just kind of going through things together, and they get my exclusive mentorship. An example of a goal is on May 15th. I challenge my team to lock in their personal success club goal by the 15th of the month. That simply means helping at least 3 new people, so that way they have the second half of the month to focus on strategy for upcoming months. They can pour into their team more. They can maybe work on some fun projects like branding. They just have more flexibility. To lock in their goal on the 15th of the month is a big business discipline. On the 21st is an example of a reminder to help my coaches remember that we need to finalize our June challengers so that they have time to order their stuff and get in our group. And then just like Groundhog Day on the 29th, my prep week opens again for June. So that's just an example of consistency. You'll see every Thursday I have Dynasty United Family Night. That's our team training. For me, I've done them a bunch of different ways in the past. I've tried monthly, I've tried bi-weekly, I've tried a noon call, I've tried a night call, I've tried everything, and I found what works for me in this season. And these weekly team trainings are so crucial for me because it helps us to continue the culture and the community that I feel is important for my team. And that consistency and that dedication is more important than any attendance numbers. So the consistency is what matters the most. Okay, next, twice a month, like every other Monday, I do what's called a Dynasty Huddle, and that's just with my PS coaches. We get on a Zoom call, and it's usually Q&A based, so I don't usually have anything planned in advance. I just invite my coaches to get some face-to-face time with me to ask any questions that are pertinent to their business right then. We can problem solve, and they can also start to share what's going well in their business, just to share ideas with other coaches. As a mentor, this really helps me see who's showing up and who's invested in learning. And then twice a month, in May, it was the 16th and the 30th, I do my best to host some sort of coach info webinar or coach opportunity something for my whole downline. And so I represent the team, and I've tried YouTube in the past, I've done webinar platforms, and recently we've been doing Facebook Live. Lastly, on Thursday, like late mornings, mid-afternoon, I do something called the Dynasty Leadership Collective. This is, again, a Zoom call that I created for my leaders. And so I've done it with my PS leaders in the past, and I've done it with my whole organization's leaders. And it's for diamonds and above to really get some time to talk about some upper-level strategy. Maybe it's income strategy, maybe it's, brand awareness, maybe it's duplication of leadership or social media expansion. It's just a time to get together and to support one another and to learn from them as well, because they have amazing ideas.
All right, so I'll walk you through mine. You're gonna notice that I have a lot of the similar ones that Brittany has, so I'm really gonna focus on the ones that are just a little bit different from what she's already shared. So you'll see again that we have the National Wake Up Call, the team calls. Again, very similar to Brittany's. One thing that's a little bit different is you notice on the 24th, we do a monthly top 10 call. So one thing that we do is every month we look at our entire downline and we see who had the highest amount of Success Club points from that month. And what that tells us is that those coaches are obviously doing something extremely relevant, something that's working really well right now. So we get them on a top 10 call, we give them a shout out to the whole team, and then what we're able to do is bring back those fresh ideas and do some live video training or masterminds around some of those topics. Next, you'll see we have a leadership mastermind similar to Brittany's. For our team, it's all diamond coaches and above, just to talk about those issues that are maybe on the forefront of their mind that might not quite be on the coach that's still aspiring to be diamond. We've also started to implement a weekly Emerald in 24 hours call, just so that we are constantly talking about how important it is for new coaches, or maybe coaches that have been around for a while that just haven't paid attention, for them to get to Emerald ASAP. They may not know that they could be missing out on potential money just by not putting focus on Emerald. And then the next thing that I want to chat about quick is lead generator nights. This is something that our team does on Monday and Thursday nights. And so a lead generator is just that. It is a post that generates leads for your business. And so we do this collectively as a team. Every Monday, Thursday at 8 p.m., we post posts that are more vulnerable. They're gonna share a part of our story that's maybe a little bit uncomfortable, something that really is near and dear to our heart. We're gonna share a nice, crisp picture that shares a part of our story. Maybe it's before and after photo or another photo that's really powerful and meaningful. And then we're gonna all post at the same time. So all of our coaches do this, and we post with that story a call to action, either to a challenge group or to maybe a coach sneak peek, something like that. But then here's where it gets really fun and cool to support our newer coaches. So after 8 p.m. rolls around, I go inside our team page and comment and ask, okay, who posted a lead generator tonight? And we get floods of comments from coaches who posted. And then I'm like, okay, where can we find you? And so we go ahead and find their posts. We also have a team hashtag on Instagram. So we find their posts, we like them, we love them, comment, and really it helps those new coaches to feel extremely supported, because you know it's scary putting yourself out there for the first time. And then the last thing is we do business opportunity calls as well. Sometimes it's a Zoom, sometimes it's a live video, but those are something that have to be on our calendar. Again, mostly to help those newer coaches who aren't comfortable presenting the business themselves just yet.
Okay, so we've mapped out an example of how to sort of make a monthly guide, sort of reverse engineer the month and get organized for your message and for your delivery. We do the exact same thing for the daily plan. It was really funny to see how similar our planning strategies are. And so what we do is the day before, we have already planned the day. So if today was a business day, I would be planning out tomorrow. And so I'm gonna walk you through what my daily plan looks like, and Amber's gonna do the same. But just as a recap, remember, like when you saw our monthlies, just remember, you might not be in a season where you can commit to nightly things or a couple times a night. That's okay. Just embrace the season that you're in and get creative with the time that you do have. So for me, I have a 17-month-old who sometimes naps and sometimes doesn't nap. I've got to be really efficient in the time that I do have. And so this daily plan has been incredibly helpful. And something that you have to remember is when time is limited, discipline is even more important. And so this is a habit, this is a practice and a skill that gets developed. So for me, I wake up between 5 and 5:30 every weekday morning, Monday through Thursday. And you guys, nobody likes to wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. It's just a choice, and you get used to it in a weird way, and you start to look forward to it. So if you haven't tried that yet, and you're feeling stressed by the time you start your day, try waking up a little bit earlier. So for me, I get my workout done somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30, and I have a social media staple where on Instagram stories I post about my workout every single day. And it's not when the outfit's cute, and it's not when it looks good or my form's good or I'm feeling less bloated. It's just every day. And so that consistency has been really crucial in connecting and building trust with my network. And so that's a social media staple of mine. Every single day I'm being proof the products work, and I'm showing that connection to the lifestyle. Then I shower, and I do some personal development as long as the baby hasn't woken up yet. He wakes up between 6:45 and 7, and then I unplug for a couple hours. So because I got started early, I have that freedom and flexibility to then just take a break. And so just that alone, that guilt-free taking a break in the morning with him is life-giving. So try that early morning grind if you haven't already. Then I start my workday. Usually it's about 9 o'clock, and that's when I start to invite. That's when I connect with people, and I follow up with the current conversations. Then about 3 to 4 times a week, I've set aside an hour chunk of time to do mentorship calls. So this is when I'm connecting with my newest coaches in our Getting Started Right call. And I'm also offering these 15-minute power calls with my current business builders after they send me a tracker. I'm kind of a stickler about a tracker because as a mentor, you can't give objective advice to somebody when you don't know what they're doing. And so a tracker is not supposed to crush your confidence or tell you what you're not doing well. It's a guide to help your mentor mentor you. So if you're not doing a tracker, use a tracker. Next is my email, my inbox time. I used to react to all the emails all the time, and I was so unproductive. So now, for a couple years now, I have a specific inbox time, and it makes me more effective. I get my to-do list done before I'm reacting to everybody else. So I have a half hour set aside in the mid-morning after I've done some of my vital behaviors where I'm responding to some inbox stuff, and I'm making sure that I've posted recently on social media. To wrap up my work sort of morning, I'm connecting, adding value to my team and my current challengers. So that's when I'm going to go into my team pages, go live, maybe share a concept or share about personal development or check into my messenger pods, see how everybody's doing. I'm going to go into my virtual fit camps and see who's posting, who's sharing, who maybe I need to send some voice memos or emails to see how they're doing. And then my little guy's up from his nap, and so it's just playtime. I do have a chunk of time late afternoon where I'm sort of looking at what's gone on in the day. Did I get most of my stuff on my to-do list done, or are there a couple things I can finish? If not, that's okay, because I'm making my list for the next day right then. So I know to carry it over to the next day. And then it's dinner, bath time, and bedtime, and then project time. So project time is like if I have a team training night, that'll be during that time. Otherwise, it's business innovation. So it's learning about maybe social media trends or learning just different webinars or different blog sort of articles that I want to look up. Maybe I'm creating recognition graphics or shouting out somebody on my team, recreating a challenge group theme. That's all project stuff. And so that's usually an hour, hour and a half every night, and then I unplug with my husband, Lauren.
Wow, isn't it amazing what you can fit into a day when you're just organized and intentional? I love it. I hate it and I love it. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go into my day, and this looks very different than when I first started coaching and I had all 4 at home. It certainly evolves over time, so I'm going to share now what my ideal day looks like, and I say ideal because obviously with kids there's all kind of things that can go wrong. But this is an ideal day with when my kids are in school and when I have some help with them. So I wake up a little bit before they get up, and my first thing is I just kind of check into my messages. I listen to personal development, have a cup of coffee, just kind of get a little bit of me time right from the get-go. After that, I unplug and I get them ready for school, feed them breakfast, all of that. So one thing that has been so just helpful for me is to really kind of visually think about putting on the mom hat, taking off the mom hat, putting on the business hat, taking off the business hat. And if I'm able to kind of compartmentalize, I can be really efficient with my time. So when it is time to unplug, because it is so tempting, like if my phone is right there, I just want to like open it up, right? And so I actually go ahead and into the kitchen and plug my phone in so that it's almost like a landline and I can't touch it until, you know, that chunk of time is done for the day. So bring the kids to school, and then I do a post on social media usually. After that, I prefer to go to the gym to work out, so I head to the gym, get my workout done, and then I'm back at home working. And the first thing that I make myself do when I get back home is inviting. Because I've had so many days where I just get into my workday and then the school calls and someone's sick or, you know, something else happens. And so I know that I need to front load my workday with the things that are the most important, which is inviting. If I'm inviting, I'll have a business. So I do that first, then I go back and I post to social media again, check in, email, messages, and then I really focus the next chunk of my workday on the business management, managing my current customers, current coaches. Maybe I do a one-on-one call, maybe it's through messaging or texting, and then it's time to pick up the kids from school. It's amazing how fast the school day goes by. But it is time to unplug, and you guys, I'm telling you, this discipline has allowed for me to pick my kids up from school every single day. And so just know that even though making a business plan is not sexy or fun sometimes, it is totally worth it. Okay, so after the kids get home from school, they're usually a little bit tired. They just kind of want to veg out, so I usually get them a snack, or they kind of hang out, play, maybe watch a show, and then I get my computer out for a little bit and tie up any loose ends from that day. I make my list for tomorrow, and then the rest of the afternoon, I really just kind of check out and spend time and unplug with the family. Maybe we go to the park, or they have activities, or, you know, making dinner, all of that. That leads up into bedtime, and so after the kids are in bed, I go back into work for a little bit, check emails and messages, and then my husband and I, you know, decide at that point, okay, is it going to be like a project night? Are we going to have a quality time night? Like, we kind of have to be in constant communication to know what kind of a night it's going to be, but that communication is really key.
And she's got twins too, so it's not just 4. Okay, so we've talked about the monthly plan, we talked about the daily plan. Now we want to give you some really good, solid advice of how to do all the things, right? So how do you stay focused during the work time? It's all about creating this no distraction zone. And you guys probably know about that, putting your phone on airplane mode, or maybe even taking your work to a coffee shop. For me, I close my office door and I put on headphones, even if there's no music, so that I can't hear him, you know, babbling or fussing or whatever. So really creating that no distraction zone is really, really crucial. And Amber just said, you know, front load your business. It's so important. It's such a good visuals. You know, focus on the basics first, so that when the day goes haywire, because it will, you've still done the business building behaviors that are going to move you forward. Do the things that you dread first. So Amber said that was inviting. For me, it's my workout. So we all have parts of the vital behavior process that we're like, we'd rather not do that anytime soon. So do those things first, because the success leaves clues. And so if it's a vital behavior, obviously it's important. And the more you do it, the better chance you will have of finding your own rhythm to not hate it as much. Plugging yourself into accountability. Coaches on the fringe are the first coaches to fade. Coaches on the fringe are the first coaches to fade. So plugging yourself into accountability is really important, and I think it's important to be doing this weekly. So that might be a success partnership or a mastermind pod, or maybe that's simply you emailing your sponsor your completed tracker with some sort of evaluation of your week, what you think went well, what did not go well, and what your goals are for the next week. Or you could take it to the community and post publicly in your team pages. What are some of your goals? What are you doing to get there? And what are you going to try to improve upon? Okay, so this is my favorite tip for you guys, and it's super nerdy, but it's set a timer. I teach my team this. I have for a couple years now because I do it myself. Set a timer for tasks. It's called the Pomodoro technique. It's real nerdy. It's from the 1980s. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. You can put that in the App Store, and there's apps for it. But essentially what it is, you're identifying one task. You're eliminating all the multitasking, and you're finding that one task that needs to get done. You're setting your timer for 25 minutes, and then you're working against the clock. The whole goal is to do one thing and to be real efficient, and then when the 25 minutes is up, you get up and take a 5-minute break. If you've finished that task, Good. Then you move on to the next task and set the timer again for 25 minutes. If you have not finished that task, then you just work against the clock again. You will be so much more efficient in such a short amount of time, but you gotta eliminate the distractions. I also call it booty in the chair. Okay, lastly is to carve out this proactive time for business innovations. I kind of talked about this already in my project time from my daily plan. The project time and business innovation is really important because doing your vital behaviors is really great. But sometimes to move your business forward, you've got to do the research. You've got to figure out where you're going in your business. Don't just do the bare minimum at all times. Do that in a season that's super challenging, but try to carve out some time where you can learn a little bit more, or where you can recreate the challenge group template because it's been bothering you, or you can recognize those downline coaches that need a little extra love, or you can build that blog and start learning about blogging because it's important to you. The main thing, again, I'll reiterate, when time is limited, discipline is most important.
Okay, so the next thing we want to remind you of, now that you have some of these tips, is remember your seasons will constantly change. I feel like I just get into a good groove and a good routine, and then my kids get a little bit older, or they stop sleeping through the night. And so it's really important to be proactive about knowing that your life will change, so you just plan for it and expect it. So I would love for everyone to grab your phones, get your phone out really quick, and open up your calendar to September 22nd. This is 3 months from now. And I want you to put this question in there. Is my routine working for me right now? Is my routine working for me right now? And so set up an appointment with yourself where you are just gonna ask some questions and kind of reevaluate what season of life are you in? What are your pain points? What's really hard to finish every day? That was me when I realized, oh my gosh, I have 4 kids all the time, 24/7, and I need help. So I worked toward the next stage. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're finding a good routine in each season.
Okay. So keep your phones out. I'm going to give you something to do for Sunday. So bring up Sunday. In your calendar, you're going to set an alarm for 9 p.m. and you're going to set it to repeat every Sunday. It's important that you stay encouraged. Like Amber was saying, like this season of your life is most likely temporary, so it's important to stay flexible and disciplined, but it's also important to just stay steadfast. And so the encouragement is really important. So I want you to have an alarm that goes off on your phone every Sunday at 9 p.m., and I'm going to tell you exactly what to write. They're kind of long, so I'll put them on my Instagram stories a little later. The first one, type it out with me. I am building a thriving business because I plan and prepare daily. I'll read it one more time. I am building a thriving business because I plan and prepare daily. That's the first affirmation. The second one that's going to go off every Sunday at 9 p.m. is this. I stay flexible in my daily business approach, but disciplined with my daily business building activities. I'll read it again, don't worry. I got a clock ticking down. I stay flexible in my daily business approach, but disciplined with my daily business building activities. I'll post it on social later if you missed it. Discipline is what makes all the difference in the long run. So have that set to go off every Sunday as you prepare for the next week ahead of you. You guys use a tracker that makes sense for you. Don't just use a tracker that Beachbody hands you or that your sponsor hands you. That's meant to be a guide. That's meant to be inspiration. But make sure the tracker and the to-do list that you're working on makes sense for your season. And then, of course, find the reason to keep going. This season in your life right now may be challenging, but you have to dig deep, find that why, and remind yourself of that all the time. Okay, so we've talked about what to do, how to build this business on part-time hours, but we've kind of set it up as if everything was predictable and as if you could plan your day every day. So we're going to leave you with these last 2 slides on how to survive in the craziest seasons, and the seasons where you feel like you cannot add one more thing to your plate, but you care about your business and you care about your mission. So these are survival mode tips to the day in the chaos. Number one, stay more organized in your messaging so that you're not spending the precious time that you have on finding the message that you got last week. You can stay more organized in your messaging with a notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy. Notebook, Google Documents, Streak, Teamsy, use whatever you need to use. And then personalize your to-do list.
Also, eliminate guilt. When it's crazy and you feel like, you know what, I just don't know if I have time to work my business, don't tell yourself that. Make sure that you still get in, get out, and know that, you know what, even if your kid is sick, you can find a little something to do to move your business forward. Also with that, stay organized. Make sure that you know exactly what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it. Really, if you have even a little bit of time every day to work your business and you're focused on the right things, your business will move forward.
Create content on the go. This is super important because you're going to be busy. You might be out with the kids, so take pictures while you're out, or you might have family in town. Take pictures to use later on. You can pop them in an editor later. Use your voice memo system or your notes section on your phone to remind yourself of the things that you want to talk about, the experiences that you can post about later when you sit down to your computer. Also share regularly. Embrace the season that you're in. If you're in a newborn season and your baby is small and you feel like you do the exact same things every single day, I know it feels monotonous to talk about that, but talk about it. Embrace it because other people will truly relate to what you're going through.
One little quote that has helped me a lot with this is just document, don't create. Document, don't create. Don't feel the need to come up with these fancy posts. The truth is, when you're in survival mode, you are the most relatable. So talk about your real life stuff that you're going through, and talk about maybe your kid, hasn't been sleeping, or they're teething, or whatever it is, and your audience is going to relate. But here's where it gets really fun. Instead of just kind of complaining or saying how crazy your life is, you're not going to be stuck there. You get to share hope with the world that even though life is insane, I am going to choose a healthy lifestyle. So you're going to represent the healthy lifestyle despite how crazy it is. That's considered working. Like when you are pushing play when your life is crazy, you're working your business. You're setting an example, and your business will grow.
Okay, so work out before the day starts. I know you're not a morning person, most of you, because I know I'm not, but it protects the integrity of your business because you continue to do what you're asking other people to do, and it protects your credibility. So work out before the day starts. Just get up a little earlier.
And if you do nothing else, invite. So the fact that you are working out and doing all of that already, you're gonna feel like you wanna still share about this life. So if you do nothing else, when life is crazy, just keep inviting other people to join you, and you will be amazed at how your business grows.
You guys are awesome. When time is limited, discipline is the most important. I hope you're empowered. I hope you're encouraged. Thank you so much for having us, and enjoy the rest of your summit. Bye, guys.